Okay, evening everybody. Let's have a little look. Okay, so we are live, which is good. Welcome to my YouTube live, my Wednesday night Facebook live. We are the 4th of May today, and we are midweek, day 2 of the new annual catalogue, and we are very excited about what it has in store for us this year. So I am going to get crafting tonight. Sorry I was a bit late. I'm trying to play around with a new way of filming, and I wasn't sure if it worked or not, and I couldn't work out if I was live. So Catherine Carroll, I will be asking you some very specific technical questions after this. Not that you're watching right now, but yes, I will be having a chat to you about what on earth I'm doing, because I'm a bit technical clueless today. So tonight I thought I would spend a bit of time with you all, just sharing a few techniques with designer series paper. There are some beautiful new patterned papers in this year's annual catalogue, and I'm sure you will agree with me that we all like to look at these papers, we all like to stroke these papers, but we don't like cutting these papers. So I am going to show you a few techniques with designer series paper. It does involve you cutting them up. So Kylie Bertucci, a very lovely demonstrator in South Pacific, she runs a feature regularly called Love It, Chop It. And the idea is, if you love it, chop it and use it. And I love that. I followed her for years, and I think she's onto a brainwave, onto a brilliant idea there. So I'm going to share a few of my ways that I like to use designer series paper. I hope you enjoy it. If you don't worry. I won't take offence if you don't like it. And you'll see a few new products along the way. So let's get cracking. Or let's get crafting. I'm just going to flip my camera around. So basically, my new technical way of filming will stop all this kind of moving the camera, which is fine. I'm happy to do it, and I've done it for years, but I'd like to come across a bit better. So I am going to show you a few little techniques, and when you're creating cards, rather than chopping the DSP, perhaps making a mistake cutting it too small and wasting it, I use my grid paper. I use scraps of grid paper to basically plot out and measure what's going to work on my card. So here, for example, I've plotted out 3 different measurements of paper just to get my sort of borders between the pieces right, or sort of aesthetically pleasing to me. And that's all I'm doing. So I've done this with 3 different sets of measurements, and I'll share these along the way. But grid paper is great for practicing your projects, mapping things out before you go ahead and you cut that lovely DSP. So let's decide on some papers, shall we? I have here this lovely pattern, and what I'm going to show you first is I'm going to show you using the same patterns. Okay, so I am going to cut my piece of DSP, and I'm going to use these measurements here first. So we've got a 3 by 9.5 centimetres, a 4 by 9.5 centimetres, and a 6 by 9.5 centimetres. Now I know that my paper, my consistent measurement is 9.5 centimetres, and that is my width. So I'm going to cut that first. Now I'm going to cut it here. Now what I would usually be doing is I would usually be cutting this strip off of a larger piece. Okay, so that is my upright measurement, and we've got 9.5 across. Now I'm going to cut these measurements in order. So I'm going to start with 3 centimetres as my first measurement. I'm going to cut at 4 centimetres as my next measurement, and 6 centimetres as my next. Now I'm using the same piece of designer series paper, but this method is great for using up scraps of paper that we all keep hold of, that we all can't bear to part with, and that all keeps our craft room full up as such. So I'm going to grab some of this colour. So this colour is, I'm still learning the new colours, this is Starry Sky. Okay, so I'm going to grab my Starry Sky and I'm going to cut this. I'm going to cut it so it's just a little bit bigger. I'm going to go with, and this is my card base, sorry. I'm going to cut it at 10.5 centimetres. I'm going to score at 14.9. And this is 12 by 12 cardstock. If you're using A4 cardstock, you don't need to worry about cutting it down. You would just use your standard measurement. And I'm going to cut at 29.8. So there we have our little background piece. Now I like to lay out my DSP onto white card so it's nice and crisp. So this, I'm going to take it down ever so slightly and I'm going to cut 2 pieces that are 10 centimetres wide. And then my vertical measurement is 14.4. So basically it's 0.5 centimetre smaller than our card front. Okay, so I can put my trimmer to one side. So my card front, this measures 10.5 by 14.9. So my piece of basic white is 0.5 centimetre smaller, which is 10 centimetres, and then our design, we've got the pattern continuous, and our border between all of those is a nice even measurement. Okay, we can start building our card. I'm going to lay on my piece of basic white and then I'm going to start. You can by all means mix and match these, but what I quite like about it is how you get the pattern continuing and you just have that little border between. Okay, so this piece of DSP is really, really busy, isn't it? So I don't want to add too much to it. And I'm going to keep this to a really simple layout, okay? Like so. So there we have our DSP on. Now I'm going to put that to one side. I'm going to stick this piece of white in actually. This is our piece for the centre. And the next one I am going to build up. The one side I'm going to use the back of this. Okay. Now my next measurements, the idea for this is that my strips, these are 3 centimetres wide by 13.9. And the idea is they go 3 pieces of designer series paper that are 3 centimetres by 19.5. So here we go. Let's cut a strip that is 3 centimetres wide by 13.9. Hi to anyone who's just joined us. Okay, so we've got those 2 pieces like so. And then just have a play around with what works. So actually we could pop that piece in next, or we could choose an entirely different piece and see what we like. So this would work. So let's cut a piece down to 13.9. And again, this is a great way of using up your scraps. And you can mix and match like a little pick and mix. So we've got those 3 pieces. Now we want 2 pieces of basic white. that again are 10 centimetres by 14.4. And we want a nice card base. So we've got these 3 colours here. So I'm going to go with a nice pool party card base. Let's see if I've got any cups. In the cupboard. Okay. So let's just move these over. And let's cut this down to 10.5 centimetres. And this is A4 card, so we're just going to score it at 14.9 centimetres. And we can go ahead and layer this together as well. So we've got our piece of basic white. And then we've got our 3 pieces that we have cut out. So I'm just mixing and matching. I'm going to actually put that green one in the centre like that, I think. What do you think? Do you think that works? So we're going to layer this on our piece of white first. Now, if you wanted to do the same technique as you've done here, so you cut one piece and then just move it along to separate, so you've got the same consistent pattern, you just need to cut one piece of DSP that is by 13.9 and then cut that piece down into 3 centimetre strips. So the options are endless with this sort of technique. Now that piece in the middle is a bit close. I'm just going to pop that off, if it will come off, and it will. And just move that over ever so slightly. That's good. So that is our next DSP pattern. And then for the third, I will show you another one. So I'm going to decorate all of these afterwards. Just going to share with you this little technique first. Like so. So we've got 2 different styles of adding designer series paper to your cards. So I'm going to put my templates to one side. Hi Joanna, thanks for joining us. And then now I've got a sort of complicated piece. Okay, so I'm just going to turn this over and I'm going to show you how this is going to work. So this is where I'm using my scraps of grid paper, and I'm going to add these to my card like so. So a way to measure that you've got everything right, you're going to pop those on like that, and then this one, and then this one. Now, this one here is 1/2 centimetre shorter than that. So I know I need to cut this ever so slightly bigger. So I'm going to cut this so it's 3.5 centimetres. Okay, so I'm going to pop that to one side. The other measurement I always also go by is this measurement here. So once they're all jutted up against each other, this measurement here is 1.5 centimetres. And when I turn it around and everything is popped up in that corner, this measurement here is 1.5 centimetres. So I know that however I layer that onto my piece, onto my card front, the borders are going to be symmetrical. Okay, so we need to cut this last piece 3.5 centimetres by 6 centimetres. Oh no, sorry, it's not 3.5, it is 3 centimetres by 6.5 centimetres because the length, isn't it? Okay, so let's get cutting. So I'm going to have, I'm going to have a bit of busy and a bit of not so busy. So I'm going to do a 6 centimetre piece by a 6.5 centimetre piece. And that is going to be my first piece there. I'm then going to grab another piece of DSP. Let's have this blue. So let's have this to be 6 by 7. 6 by 7. Okay, so that's my piece down there. And then I'm going to have a yellow piece. So the yellow piece, I'm going to just chop this bit off here. I want a 3 by 7. 7 by 3. That piece is going to sit there, and then I want another piece that is 3 by 6.5. So let's go with this green. So we've got 3 by 6.5. So with this sort of design, this is great for using up scraps. These are the sort of size scraps that I can't bear to throw away. So there we go, those are our pieces. And now I want another piece of white. And again, this is 10 centimetres by 14.4. We want 2 pieces, one for the inside and one for the outside. Okay. So now let's have another pool party base. Pool party is quite often my colour of choice. I'm going to score this at 14.9 centimetres and pop that to one side. Okay. Now we can put on this first piece. And then we can bring our pieces of designer series paper over to layer on. And I think that's really nice. So let's just put these down. So far everything on our card is flat. If you wanted to feature a certain piece of DSP, you could always add that piece onto Stampin' Dimensionals just to raise a little bit. I think this one might be my favourite. Okay, so there is piece number 3. So I've got my templates that I'm going to pop in a little envelope for later. And there we have our 3 very different backgrounds for our cards. What do you think? Let me know. And then it's all about decorating. So I'm going to keep it simple. And I've gone ahead and I've pre-cut some banners like this. These have cut some banners like this. These have been cut from the new Stylish Shapes dies. We've got squares, circles and lovely banners. They've got stitching both on the die, and then once you've die cut it, it will leave stitching around the edge of the negative piece. Okay, now one of my favourite things about this designer series paper is these beautiful flowers that we can cut out. So these also coordinate with the dies that go with this set, so you can cut out the actual flowers as well, but I'm going to fussy cut just because I am being a little bit lazy tonight. My die cutting machine is over on the other side of my desk. So I'm just going to cut out a few of these flowers and leaves that we can use. So let's just work out. We'll have that one and we'll have this leaf. I've got this one here and this one here. That's a nice one on there. And then over there we've got a blue one. So they come in all different colours, in different sort of ombre gradients, which is really nice. Let's have them on there. We want a leaf on here. What else do we want? Let's have a look. And then you can also use the pieces on the edge of the paper when you're layering. Okay, so I'm going to see how we get on with those ones. So let's just do a wee bit of fussy cutting. I'm going to leave a little white border around the edge. One, because I think it makes my fussy cutting look a bit neater. And two, it coordinates really well with the white borders we've got running through all of these cards. I'm just going to trim around these. The dies don't go around all the images. I believe they go around these ones, this one here that I'm cutting. And this is the set of products that features on the front cover of the new catalogue. It may have been quicker to die cut these, but hey, we're in no rush, or I'm in no rush. Okay. Can see myself spending some time and fussy cutting all of these flowers out. Probably at the weekend when we're having a film evening. Film and a cocktail is becoming our favourite way to spend a Friday night. So I might do this on Friday night. Got that on. I'm not going to put too many on here just because I don't really want to take anything away from that lovely DSP that we've got there. I'm so quick at fussy cutting. It's taken me a while to get up to this. It's just practice though. The more you do it, the sort of more efficient I seem to have become, put it that way. And then we've got these here. I think I might mix and match these ones on here. Nice and quiet as well. We had horrendous rain earlier. If you hop on over to my Instagram, I shared a video of what was the rain was just coming down so hard. It's one of the downsides to being at the bottom of the garden. If you want to go indoors and it's raining, you're going to get soaked. And I did get soaked. The girls thought it were highly amusing though. Thing is though, if I run, I'm always worried I'm going to slip over because our patio is quite slippy. Okay, so we've got a selection of flowers there, and I want the Hues of Happiness stamp set, which I thought I brought over with me. Where are you, stamp set? I definitely brought it over. Oh, it's on the floor. It must have fallen off my desk. Okay, so this is the Hues of Happiness stamp set. So I'm going to stamp some sentiments. I'm going to turn all of these into thank you cards. So this sentiment says, sending many thanks for all you do. So let's add that to a little block. And I'm going to stamp in this lovely new Starry Sky colour. This may be the first time it's had an inking. So let's just pop those up out of the way. I'm going to add the same sentiment to all three. You could, by all means, use the Stamparatus for this, so you know you get them all in the right place. I haven't been that organised, so I'm going to use mine just with my block. And this sentiment fits really nicely across this banner. Lovely. And then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this banner to my card. So on this one, I'm going to pop it kind of off centre, like so. This one here. I'm going to pop it just in that middle. I don't really want it at the top, although that would look nice just at the top there. Should I pop it there? Let's do that. We tend to put our sentiments at the bottom of our cards, don't we? But let's go for a bit of a difference. And then here, I'm going to pop this one just at the bottom of my card, like so. Okay. And then now what we're going to do is we're just going to layer some of these flowers sort of in and around our banner. And these are all pieces that aren't perfect as such. So it's just about some really clever layering to hide those edges. And then this little leaf I'm going to pop down the bottom. And then these, I'm going to cut this in half. So I'm going to pop a piece at the top. Like so. That bit's a bit wide. I'm going to put that bit at the bottom. Let's put this bit at the top. Like so. And then this one we can add a few more flowers. So let's add a blue one up here. Should we add him down the bottom? Let's add this blue one. I'm going to cut it down ever so slightly. And then that one is going to sit at the top. And then this one, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to just trim it down. Pop that one in there. With our little blue one just hanging out the edge. And then here what we can do is just mix and match some of these sort of in and around to fill in any gaps if you fancy. Like so. Where's my other piece? What was this one? This was a little blue one. I think I'll leave that off. But I do think I want another leaf. So let's just grab my DSP again. And let's go for one of these leaves. Sort of leaf spray, as I would call that. And let's have this one here. So what are we thinking so far? Have we got a favourite? Do we not like any of them? So we've now got some little leaves that we can tuck in. And then we've got our last little leaf to fussy cut. So this is just stamps, ink and paper. I've got no embossing. I've got no ribbon. It's just paper and ink. So it's perfect for this month's simple stamping focus. So with Stampin' Up always challenge their demonstrators every single month with a new hashtag simple stamping challenge, and this month's challenge is thank you cards. So here we have 3 thank you cards that have been made with just stamps, ink and paper. There's very minimal stamping, so you just need a sentiment, you need some paper, and you need scissors, glue and your trimmer. You could always, I know I've used the banners that I've die cut, but you could easily cut your own simple strips. Lovely, that just finishes that off nicely. If I put that in there, yeah, that looks nice at the top there. Now I always find knowing when to stop adding things is the hardest part when you're making cards like this. What's this? Oh, it's another leaf. Let's just add one more leaf and then I'm happy. Okay, what I was just saying about knowing when to stop. I feel like leaves isn't too bad. But yeah, knowing when to stop is always the hardest part. I like that. So there we have our 3 very different looking cards. Well, I say very different. They're not massively different, are they? Our 3 variations of using designer series paper on our cards in different ways. It's great for using scraps of designer series paper that we've all got stashed away. And I'm just going to add a few little gems. I have no idea if these are current or they are retired, but they're in my box and I don't like to waste things. So let's just add a few little gems to our card to give it a little bit of a different texture. I know I've said hashtag simple stamping, but I can't not add a gem to my cards. And these are brushed metallic adhesive backed dots. So they're really handy to have. Let's just add a few of these on. And let's have some gold ones on here. So if they are retired, I am using them up. Oh, thank you guys. Lots of nice comments there. That's really, really kind of you. I will share the measurements again in the post, in this post afterwards, so you can all get a real sort of feel for what I've done. And there we have it. They are all finished. I'm really happy with those, and I will definitely be using my templates again in the future. So just to recap, guys, I have used, still getting used to what things called the Hues of Happiness Designer Series paper for this, along with the Happiness Abound stamp set for my sentiments. I've used some templates that I've cut from scraps of grid paper that I've got in my, well, it came out the bin actually, I'm not going to lie. And then I've added in at the last minute, which I don't know if they're still current, brushed metallic adhesive backed dots, just to give it a little bit of embellishing. So that's it from me, guys. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. It's always lovely to spend some time with you. If you are watching on catch up or replay, a very happy hello to you. I hope you enjoyed the cards as well. You will find me again on YouTube next Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock. So same time next week with a different technique, and I hope you can join me. If you've got any questions or comments, please add them, or do get in touch with me. If you wanted to purchase any of the products I've used this evening, you can purchase those over at staceymarsh.co.uk. This month we've got a really exciting joining promotion happening where you can purchase £130 worth of product, pay just £99, and Stampin' Up will throw in an in-colour selection of products, including ink pads, papers and cardstock, as well as some funky grid paper. If you're interested in that deal, go to staceymarsh.co.uk and click on the join section, and all of the details are there. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching tonight. I've really enjoyed spending some time with you, and I hope to see you all or speak to you all very soon. Bye for now.